Hi, I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about the mental health curriculum uh, that is due. I put up an example. It looks like this. Um, so, before we talk about the specifics of it, let me tell you a little bit about what it is that I'm asking you to create. I'm asking you to create an 8-week group or the all of the materials that you would need to conduct a group. Um, you pick a topic. You could pick teens with substance abuse issues or women living with breast cancer or um, well, this one is a mental health group. And I decided that my mental health group was going to be 8 weeks. The first week is an introduction, the next week is fear, and then there are 6 other topics that um, will all contribute to an understanding of the group um, and um, how to conduct this group. Basically, at the end, after you have created this, someone will be able to pick up this curriculum and read it and have everything that they need each week to do the group that you have created. Here is the table of contents. That's the second page of your curriculum. Here is a group description. Um, I talk about that in the rubric, but basically, who's going to be in this group? What are the eligibility requirements? Is there anything specific that you are looking for? Are they ages, I don't know, 10 to 18? Or are they over 65? Or um, is there no eligibility? Can anyone join the group regardless of age, gender, sex, any of those particular qualifiers? You describe that right here. And then you are the facilitator. These are the facilitator rules. These are pretty generic rules that I put up. But these are the rules that that you're asking the group members to abide by. Um, so here's the first group. It's welcome is the first 5 minutes. And that's where you're going to uh, introduce the group members to each other. You're going to introduce them to the group and help them understand what the next 8 weeks are going to look like. Basically, you're providing some type of comfort level. And also, because it is a group, one of the processes that is inherent in a group is that you have the ability um, to be able to be open and to talk about what your experiences are. So you're going to set that tone right away with the introductory exercise. The introductory exercise is approximately 20 minutes, and I'm just going to tell you what it is. You take specific things events in people's lives, like getting married, the birth of the child, learning to drive, going to prom, um, playing sports. I mean, it can be anything. Your first date, um, first time you got a haircut as a teenager, um, your first day of high school, anything. But you get at least like 20 of those topics. You type them out, cut them up, fold them into little bitty pieces, put them in, I don't know, like a cup box, something, and you pass it around, and each one of the group members pulls one out, and then they talk about what actually happened to them on that event, um, and what they wish they would have happened, or what they wish they would have done differently. Um, yeah, so, and then you're going to, as the facilitators, have some questions. Like, this is an introductory group, so typically you process whatever it is that you have talked about, but for you to facilitate what's going to happen, you can ask them things like, what might help you participate fully in this group? What might make it easier for you to talk about your personal experiences? And what might prevent you from sharing your thoughts or feelings? And what do you think encourages open communication? Um, and then you're going to ask the group to set some goals, what it is that they would like to get out of it at the end of 8 weeks, and then have them fill out the evaluation form that I'll talk about. Okay, so you did the introduction. Everybody knows each other, everybody knows you, everybody's feeling comfortable, everybody has shared something. So next, we're ready to get into the actual topics for the next 8 weeks. So, if you'll remember correctly, this is a mental health group. These are the topics that we chose for our group. Fear uh, is next, then the next week is anxiety, next week is grief, then depression, trauma, anger, shame. So, every week, um, they're going to get information about one of those topics. So it's titled Lessons, Understanding the Psychological Effects of Fear. So, what I would do is I would do my research, figure out what somebody would need to know um, about fear and its biological um, the biological effects that it has on a person, the psychological effects, and what it can manifest into, such as post traumatic stress disorder. And you provide all of the information right there. It's usually like 3/4 of a page. And you give all of the information that a group leader would need to teach the group about fear. Um, so there's a 10 to 15-minute lesson that is part of a psychoeducational group. And then you're going to have an activity that reinforces what it is that you talked about. For example, uh, a group, an activity that relates to fear. What you can do is go around the group, have everybody talk about a time in their life when they were extremely afraid, the time when they were the most afraid in their life, and have them describe the long term effects of it. do they carry any psychological effects from it or physiological effects? Like, do they have an exaggerated startle reflex? Do they have nightmares about it? Um, do they have, since then, have they had difficulty sleeping? Just, what has been the overall uh, effect of what that traumatic event was? Um, and then you would also, so that's the activity, materials. You basically don't need anything for that particular activity I just described. But you would also provide questions to stimulate discussion, um, such as, the person said, oh, like, I was in a horrific car accident, and one of the people I was in the accident with uh, ended up dying. Um, but I really don't have any residual effects of that. So then you would ask, like, you would put probing questions. You know, have you noticed whether you have difficulty sleeping because of that? Or um, immediately after that, did you have problems with relationships? And the way that you will know all of these questions is based on the research that you have done. Now, this is going to require critical thinking as you create this. This is not something that you're going to be able to look up in your book or look on the web. Well, you can probably find examples of, as a matter of fact, I know you can find examples of uh, group curriculums on the web. Um, but just remember, I can Google also. But anyway, and then you'll do that for each topic for the group. It should be one page, and then uh, for each week. So at the end of 8 weeks, you would then put um, your appendices, which would be the rules that you came up with, the group rules, whatever they came up with, and then your evaluation form. You can use this form, it's not a problem. All that matters is that you have one, they all are basically the same thing. I hope this helps you and gives you an idea of what it is that you are um, being asked to do. If you will also look here, I gave more information uh, or about what should be in the particular parts of the group. Um, and then you will also notice that there is a copy of the evaluation form here for you to download and attach to it. So when you see 7 to 8 pages, it's not as in depth and as rigorous as you would think that it is. So don't panic. Most students that do this assignment actually enjoy it, uh, and I think you will too. As always, if you have any questions or there's any way that I can be of assistance, please don't hesitate to contact me.